Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. As promised in last video, we're gonna head down to SoCal and figure out what's up with the pit bull. So right now, I'm working on attaching the trailer. We're gonna load up the pit bull today and we're gonna head out tomorrow. And I'm just gonna kind of give a disclaimer here, is that whatever we find out at this transmission shop, just know that I'm an absolute rookie, so it might be the dumbest mistake, one of the most obvious things that I just missed. It could be anything, but again, I'm going down there to learn so that I can answer questions that you guys have, and we're gonna see what we could do with this 700 R4 transmission. So stick around, this is gonna be a sick video. It's gonna be like an off-the-leash episode slash Tech Tuesday slash super fun and awesome, so stick around, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. Now we go get some friends. What I found. My leg! Alright, so there we have it. The pit bull is loaded up. As I said earlier, we'll be heading down there. So, yeah, that was fun. Alrighty, friends, so we have officially hit the road. Nothing special going on here. You know, hopefully we'll make it safe and sound. I'm not even going to talk about safe and sound. Every time I talk about safe and sound, I get screwed up. But we'll get into Hesperia, go to bed and wake up bright and early and start ripping into the pit bull. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good episode. Alrighty, good morning everybody. So we are 5 minutes away from Bowtie Transmissions. You guys already know what's going on if you're this far into the video. So as soon as we get there, we'll meet the team at Bowtie and we'll start ripping into the pit bull. So can't say I'm like totally looking forward to it, but I think I had a decent break of just not wrenching on anything. So I'm ready. I'm ready to tackle this project again. We'll see how much wrenching they actually let me do. But let's get over there and see what we can figure out. Mitch, going right next to me. Alright guys, so as you know, we're out here in Hesperia, California. We're at Bowtie Transmissions and we're with Chris. Chris is the owner of Bowtie. You've been in business 20 years. You've owned the place probably 4 or so. So let the people know what you got cooking here.
Yeah, we specialize in GM rear-wheel drive transmissions. That's all we do. From classic cars to trophy trucks, and we'll build you a transmission specializing in, you know, the parts and stuff that you're going to need to make it work for your application. For instance, with his vehicle, his Bronco, we got a little bit of issue of a pump alignment problem. So we're going to pull it apart, go through and check, see why everything's, you know, having an issue, and go from there.
So there you guys have it. That's what goes on here in Hesperia. Now, Chris, from what you just said about the pit bull, that's my Bronco's name. Everybody watching knows that. What's like probably the main problem that we're looking for? Which I think you hit on it a little bit.
You're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of the flex plate, pull up on your gap to the converter to flex plate, or the adapter itself going from the Ford engine to the GM transmission. There might be an out of around situation that we might have to deal with dowel pins.
So you want to see this TV system that doesn't work on the...
Let's check it out, yeah. I think we found the problem.
So now it's buried, that's where it's supposed to be, but it's not in the right starting point. You have to think of this system as like a throttle position sensor for this transmission.
So the transmission's like thinking you're at 50% throttle when you're at idle.
Trippy, okay.
And it's gonna just smack.
So at this point in the video, Dwayne and Chris took me to transmission school. For the next hour or so, I soaked in as much information as I could pertaining to the 700 R4. I asked question after question, and by the end of it, I felt like I had a fairly decent grasp on the basics of what was going on. To keep the video somewhat short and sweet, we zoomed past all of that info, but stick around for the recap at the end. So I think that I've got the 30% grip on like all that you've explained. That was insane. You should make your own YouTube channel. the amount of crap I just learned there, I'm like, I want to remember all this. Alrighty, so we've been here for probably 2.5 hours now. 3.5. We've been here for a little bit of time. We're just about ready to pull the transmission out. I think we found the root of the problem. It wasn't anything I was like totally expecting, but again, automatic transmissions are so complicated, you know, I don't know much about them. The guys over here at Bowtie Transmissions, Chris and Dwayne, they explained it extremely well, so my brain gets it, but as far as communicating it to you guys, I don't know if I could quite do that, but essentially it was just the placement, something to do with the TV cable. The TV cable is one of the most intricate parts for a 700 R4. Once we get all of it torn out, we get it sat on a table. I'll probably have the guys, Chris or Dwayne, walk through what was the actual problem, because it's super easy to point out. But as you guys can see, if you guys look closely, look at my hands, they're a little bit more clean than I expected. I was hoping to get my hands a little bit more dirty, but we're kind of just chilling here now. They're doing all the work, which is cool. You know, I just expect to do a little more. Hopefully at some point I'll be able to get my hands dirty. But up until then, we're just chilling. We're waiting for that thing to get torn out, and then we'll see what else happens today. So yeah, stick around. I don't know why you would stick around. Maybe because you're bored. So we just got the transmission out. By we, I mean Dwayne. He did it all. Check out my torque converter. It was like someone ate a chunk out of that thing. So that's good. That'll be fun. This could be the potential issue. It might have worked itself out the back.
Well, it's not centering.
Right. I'm saying it was. So this is it, the problematic child. We're about to throw it up on a little stand, and they're gonna start ripping it apart. And this is where my knowledge like completely ends. I know nothing about the inside of these other than what was just explained to me. So we'll see if we can get a little bit of info, but this is a shop, so they got other stuff to do. So we're working through this pretty quick here, but at the end we'll give a nice little recap for you guys. Because there's really no like telling signs, right? Aside.
It depends on what happens, like when people put the converter in and smash it when they don't engage those tangs and they bolt the bell housing up and smash the actual rotor, then you'll see indentation on the rotor, because it basically they'll screw the rotor up so bad right when they start it, it'll push, engage, gouge the pump face like this shit.
Okay.
You know, see, there's a vein stuck inside of there. See that just big old groove?
Yeah.
That's just from pieces smalling that up. But
jeez. So, I mean, that means that this thing is just smoked
no, this
too.
is trash. This
yeah.
whole everything's probably trash.
Those are our salvageable parts. All right, so transmission's out, it's taken apart. As you guys can see, the carnage in my hands, that is what's left of the pump. Got your pump rotor. We got the torque converter, again with the bite out of it. So just all kinds of little pieces. We're slowly diagnosing and putting together what was actually wrong with this thing. One thing that may have been a problem is if this did happen, right now we're missing a dowel pin. Now whether that was lost when it was taken out, which is unlikely, the more likely thing that happened is it seemed to have worked itself out. And you need both of the dowel pins, obviously, when you've got your transmission mated to your adapter plate. So I am of the belief that at some point over time, over the past 2-3 months, it worked itself out through the back of the transmission, and now you're only relying on one dowel pin and the 5 bolts, which it's just not enough. You need those dowel pins. They're integral to keeping everything aligned. So we're gonna hunt down another dowel pin, that along with some TV cable problems, just the mounting and bracketry that we cooked up with that in the 2 weeks that we had to stuff everything in. Seemed to be the main problems, but again, at the end of the video, we'll give you the final, like, boom, these are your problems. But that's where we're at right now. We're working on getting some parts together to stuff back into this transmission, make sure everything's rebuilt properly. Then we'll test it and see what happens. So it's getting a little fun here, you know. All right, so my 700 R4 with everything set up inside is set up in the test truck. We're gonna take that for a spin. But wanted to show you guys this. This is actually a pretty cool setup. It's actually a pump running through all my lines, through my cooler, through my radiator, so we can actually see what's flowing through everything, make sure nothing crazy, no big chunks of metal are going back into my transmission. So we ran it once for 10 minutes, pulled the filter in this thing out, and there were quite a few small chunks and pieces to the point that this thing actually got clogged up. So it's good that they're running this whole system. Again, this is all bow ties procedure. Good that they caught that. We're running it one more time, seeing what else we come up with. But let's go ahead and take you for a spin in the test truck.
Lock up the converter. I heard it lock up the converter. So I'll show you how I check that on the brake pedal. So it's unlocking the converter, locking it up. Now we're going to check downshifts.
Okay, so test drive was obviously good. It was fun. We're at the point now where we're ready to start assembling all of this back in again. A couple things that I want to note that we did to the transmission. We did shave this ear off just to make better clearance. There's nothing on that we actually needed. So that's good there. We removed the inline filter for the cooler lines. Just because we decided that we didn't need any of that anymore. We came up with a pan that could actually run the transmission gauge. So now we'll actually know how hot we're running. Again, because I've got my cooling system dialed in pretty well, I wasn't too worried about that. And when we looked at the oil that came out of this thing, it wasn't burnt at all, so I'm pretty sure that we were still just as dialed in, 150, 160 degrees. But just to be safe and just to monitor it going uphill and stuff like that, we'll be able to see that now. So let's get this puppy stabbed in and let's see what happens next. Alrighty guys, so after a long day of diagnosing, learning, figuring stuff out here at Bowtie, like you saw, we're putting the transmission back in. We're gonna button up the underside and then take off for tonight, come back tomorrow for a little bit, mess with the TV cable system, the bracketry and all that, get all of that dialed in, learn a little bit more about some of that stuff. So again, at this point, I don't know what's actually making it into the final cut of the video, but hopefully it's making a little bit of sense. I'm hoping if you guys actually have questions, I'll actually be able to answer them if you guys ask. If you guys got any questions, leave them in the comments below. This is more just showing you guys what we're doing, shouting out Bowtie and actually getting this thing running again. So that's the whole point of this video. You know, maybe we'll do some donuts in this thing when we're done, but we'll see. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alrighty, good morning everybody. You guys already know what's about to happen. We're about to get this thing off the lift on the road. Let's get to work. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like just standing around. Dwayne's got it covered. But I don't like not doing anything. Maybe I should ask Chris if he's got something for me to do. Hey Chris, hey, Dwayne's not letting me get my hands dirty, man. He's doing all the work. You got anything for me to do? I'm tired of standing around. Man. But then again, maybe not. Okay guys, so now it's time to actually do the TV cable. So Bowtie has a lot of these different plates and bracketry systems that they run for all of their different setups, all the different things that you could throw at them. So we actually have to modify a little bit of my carburetor and do a bunch of other stuff. Dwayne's in the back doing all that stuff right now. And so we'll make all of this work, we'll make it all talk and everything, get all the geometry right, and then we'll see about throwing it on there on the pit bull. Alright, so now that the base plate has been fabricated, everything for the TV cable, it's time to slap this puppy on. Again, this is all learning for me. And again, I probably won't be able to explain half of it, but it's all getting locked in here, so hopefully I can remember a good bit. It's a lot of fabrication stuff, and that's what these guys are really good at, is just running into the problems and solving them super quick. So let's get this thing stuck on, get everything plugged back in, and hopefully we'll be coming up to a start here pretty quick in a test drive. Okay, so that was the first startup just to get some oil into the torque converter. We're gonna throw some more oil in and then start it up again. And we're probably this close to taking a test drive, so. So in putting the pit bull back together, we found out that my drive shaft is like totally whacked. We just left it out. We put the rear one in so we could get some drive. I don't think we're gonna need any four-wheel drive for the next couple days. So we'll get home, we'll get this fixed. But I mean, look at that puppy. The heck? I think it's time for a test drive. Okay, so there was your first test drive. Everything was going smoothly, but Chris figured out we didn't have a lockup, so we got to figure out what's up with that. And then also the governor might be sticking, which we figured out because we weren't able to go into second gear. It wasn't wanting to shift. So those are a couple things we're gonna have to diagnose and see. Just a little bit more buttoning up, and then I think we're out of here. So fun stuff. Alrighty guys, so there you have it. That was the transmission experience. Chris, I asked Chris to walk us through like everything that we hit on, some of the main points, just because he's going to explain it a lot better than I would. So take it away, Chris.
Yeah, so Mitch from Wild Horses came through. He brought his Bronco to us. He had a couple little bit of issues breaking the pump. We went through the transmission. He brought it to us. We found a couple little issues with the dowel pin, and it broke the pump because nothing was in alignment from the back of the block to the transmission. When you're doing these kind of conversions, especially with, we're going from a Ford engine to a GM transmission, there's a special, couple little things you want to look at as far as, when doing these conversions. Your flex plate, making sure it's straight, your TV cable system, because we're on a pressure control cable system for the transmission to the fuel injection or carburetor. Just little things like that, which we will walk you through. Like if you buy one of our transmissions, we have a pretty extensive installation guidelines packet that will walk you
Just not good at reading instructions. That's probably my...
walk you through it. And if you do run into something that you have a question about, you can always call us and we'll help you walk through doing the conversion on your application. So for the most part, I think we really got his truck dialed in now. Corrected the TV system, and we made sure everything's in alignment now on the pump, got a dowel pin in there, and it's working great.
And it's funny because I came down here expecting to have like this big aha moment of like, oh, that's it. Okay, sweet. But it was like this aha. It was like a compilation of different things. So that's why I came down here, just to make sure everything got dialed in this point. So the pit bull will be loaded back up on the trailer. We'll head back down to Lodi, and we'll start hitting trails again. It's snow season. It's what I call off-roading off season. But now that I can finally get out, I'll just do some snow wheeling or something. So maybe I'll come up here and wheel with you guys. Heck yeah, 100%. So thank you so much, Chris. We appreciate it. Bowtie Transmissions, check them out. And thank you guys so much for watching. Alrighty guys, so there you have it. Again, we had a lot of fun out here. Once again, shout out to Bowtie Transmissions. They did end up letting me get my hands dirty a little bit, which I'm super excited about. I got to do a little bit around the shop, so that was fun. We learned a ton, again, just because I can't communicate it as well as them. If you guys have questions, you can leave them in the comments below. You can call us at Wild Horses. If it's something about a transmission that we can't answer, we'll probably shoot you to Bowtie. Again, they know all the answers, especially for the 700 R4 swap. They do a bunch of other stuff. You definitely want to check out their website, their Instagram, and all that. It'll all be linked down below. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've watched this far, you might as well subscribe. We're doing a bunch more stuff. Again, the Pitbull's back in action, so we're going to be ripping around in that. With all of that being said, we will see you guys out there on the trail. Peace!